What's up, Ida Gang? Welcome into Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. As a part of today's video, we're diving straight into the Cardano ecosystem, taking a look at exactly what some of the biggest builders here have been doing over the course of the last couple of days, if not weeks. So as a part of today's video, we're breaking down updates as it pertains to the Cardano Foundation. We've got the Plomin Hardfork taking place in less than 24 hours, where we're going to start to see governance kicking off here in the ecosystem. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about what the potential first ever governance action will actually be after the Cardano Constitution is ratified and SIP number 1694 comes online. But then after that, we've got updates coming in from Iagon, NMKR, Clarity DAO, World Mobile, Gero Wallet, and TapTools. Now, if it's your first time stopping by the channel, my goal is to help you find your footing within the Cardano and Bitcoin ecosystems. If you appreciate content like this, please smash that thumbs up on the way in. It's by far one of the easiest ways to support me here as a content creator. If you want more of this type of content, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or maybe you just disagree with what I'm mentioning here, feel free to leave a comment down below. Now, if you want to extend your support for myself and the channel even further, consider delegating with either of the two Dapp Central stake pools, which share the stake pool ticker DAPP. Without any further ado, let's jump right on in here. The first bit of news that we've got is coming in here from Frederick Agard from the Cardano Foundation. So he's basically highlighted the fact that the community around big banks has put out some requests or some feelers about their thoughts and sort of how crypto should be regulated. And the fact that Cardano is one of the few blockchains, if not the only blockchain, that's actually taken the time to respond to their request. Now, if I jump over to the official BIS website, it states that their mission is to support central banks' pursuit of monetary and financial stability through international cooperation and to act as a bank for central banks. And it states that back on December 14th of 2023, the Basel Committee related its consultative document labeled the Crypto Asset Standard Amendments, and they were wondering if anybody from within the crypto space had any feedback for them. And we can see that out of the request, only a few, or at least a handful of crypto-based platforms had actually responded. And we can clearly see that the Cardano Foundation was one of them. Now we've got a full breakdown here for the Bank for International Settlements, or BIS. Of course, I'm not going to take the time to read this here, but it's just really positive to see that the foundation is taking the step to interact with some of these bigger and well-known entities. Now, in the video that I released yesterday, make sure to go ahead and check that out if you haven't, I talked about the fact that the Cardano Foundation is really focusing on enterprise adoption and the fact that they've also targeted big banks when it comes to their penetration within the province of Entre Rios, where we've got MOU signed and there's potential pilot programs there related to Social Security, related to students and identity. And there's just a lot going on there, right? And so having said all of that, it's just really good to see that they are doubling down. However, I do also want to state that I think it's just as important that they also focus on the internal, or at least what's going on here in the ecosystem. So that was just the first piece of news there. If you want that particular response, I'll go ahead and leave it down below so you can check out that PDF there on your own. But next, and as I mentioned earlier, we've got the upcoming Plomin Hardfork. So this kicks off here at 2100 UTC. There's going to be a joint space at the epoch boundary to basically celebrate this huge milestone here when it comes to governance here in the Cardano ecosystem. I'll definitely make sure to tune in there. And of course, I'll have some content coming out tomorrow as soon as we actually break into that new epoch or break into that new era, bringing full decentralized governance here in the Cardano ecosystem. Now, the next piece I want to break down here is going to be coming in from Sentiment. Shout out to the Angry Crypto Show for breaking some of this content earlier. But we've got the development activity across the top blockchains. And we've got Cardano coming in at number 3, bumping up and actually overpassing or overtaking Chainlink, Starknet, and Optimism. So we're only in third spot to Hedera and ICP. And what's interesting here is that they've actually changed how they calculate some of these development activities. So they've got a fully dedicated document here on Medium. This is from the official Sentiment team that breaks down what exactly they're counting or looking at when it comes to developer activity, which includes the number of code pushes, the number of issue interaction or bug resolutions, and then the number of pull request interactions, right? So anytime that somebody makes a code update or makes a code edit, they're also taking a look at that. They look at the number of GitHub wiki edits, comments and commits, and then the number of repos or repositories, right, which host code, which have been open source. So relatively cool stuff just to see there in terms of Cardano and developer activity continuing to rise. Now let's jump right on into the next piece here. We've got updates surrounding Iagon. I'm going to play this extremely brief video, which breaks down their brand new swap feature, which will allow for anybody who wants to buy Iagon to be able to do so. However, there's not going to be a need for a DEX. And the even better part is that you're going to be swapping your ADA for Iagon that's already delegated, meaning that that Iagon is actually being used to power an existing Iagon node. So it's a pretty cool feature here. Excited to see exactly how this rolls out or when this rolls out. But again, what we can see here is somebody swapping their ADA for Iagon. And as they choose to swap, they can see exactly where there's already Iagon available or the IAG token available and where that's already being staked to an existing node operator. So they can swap directly for staked IAG as opposed to picking it up on somewhere like MinSwap, where it's not necessarily staked or delegated to an existing node. Now, in addition to that, they've also teased a brand new release version that we can expect here when it comes to their dashboard. And this should be released after the Plomin Hardfork. So again, that takes place tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take for them to release this brand new version or this brand new update, but it does definitely look a lot sleeker and a lot neater. Now let's move over. We've got updates coming in here from NMKR as well as Clarity DAO. So NMKR dealing with minting of NFTs here in the ecosystem, by far the biggest platform for that. And then Clarity DAO putting together DAO or decentralized autonomous organization infrastructure to allow for projects to build their own DAO using their core tooling. Now, Clarity and NMKR have actually partnered up in order to put together a real estate DAO, which is structured or targeting Japan. And so what they basically done is put together an LLC that will allow for them to raise funds and which will also allow for fractionalized ownership of a single property. So it states here, what is RAD or what is their asset DAO? And essentially what they're going to be aiming to do is to restore a traditional house that's over 100 years old. And it's going to be the first fundraising scheme using an LLC or an LLC type DAO. So again, really cool to see. I know that this particular team has also worked with, I want to say it's the GoKey team for fractionalized ownership of a property out in Colorado. And so it's cool to see that they're also now partnering up with the NMKR team in order to also do that here as well. Next, we've got updates coming in from a World Mobile. If you've missed it, they've now introduced their World Mobile Chain Grant Program, meaning that they're allocating a total of $25 million to drive innovation for their brand new network. Now, this basically opens up the door for anybody who has developing skills or just the ability to develop something that's going to benefit the world mobile sharing economy. And so, of course, I'll leave the link to this down below, but they've broken down some of the requirements and exactly what they're looking for when it comes to that. In addition, we've got a brand new community update taking place on Thursday, January 30th at 1600 UTC. If you want to speak with Mickey, James Tag, Mike, Charles, I mean, if you want to speak with just any portion of the team, tune in here. They are always open and welcoming feedback and questions. And they're also going to be sharing progress that they've made here over the course of the last couple of days, if not weeks. Now, we've also got this team reaching over 60,000 followers here on Twitter. Of course, congrats to them. And then a really cool post here coming in from Viva Rentex, who's a longtime supporter here on the channel, highlighting the fact that taking a look at the trading volume for World Mobile or their WMTX token, that is up nearly 100%, right? So double what it's typically at, with $22 million worth of volume just taking place here not too long ago. Now, what we've seen with SNEC was somewhere around 2 to 3 million. Obviously, if you've missed it, not obviously, but if you've missed it, they have been listed on Kraken as of late. They're the first ever Cardano native asset to be listed on Kraken. And a lot of that was due to their trading volume. So could we potentially see WMTX being listed soon? They've definitely got the volume. They've got the connections. We know and we've seen them, right? Alongside key members from Binance. And then we've also seen them talking and actually taking pictures with some of the listing officers from Coinbase. Now, if they're able to get listed on either of those two platforms, that will be a huge, huge win, not only for them, but for the Cardano community. Obviously also Base, Ethereum, and I want to say BNB, where they're also listed. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that. Now, I do want to also break one other thing down here, which is the fact that they've now broken over 1 million users using the World Mobile Network. And so I'm going to jump over to their ecosystem explorer here. Let me quickly pull that up. But if you've missed it, let's actually jump in here, jump back into the ecosystem. We've got a total amount of unique users in the last 24 hours there on the left-hand side, 1.4 million users. And what's amazing, the network has now been up for over 999 days. We may as well take the time and opportunity to celebrate that here. That is a massive milestone, with now over 551 terabytes of data being consumed in the last 24 hours. In terms of the total amount of nodes, 13,000 air nodes. I remember when I first started making content, they only had about 50 to 100 air nodes, and they were happy if they had over a terabyte worth of data being used over the course of 24 hours. And that was around when we had maybe 10, maybe 15,000 people connecting to their network. So now over 1 million, and again, about to cross over 1,000 days of uptime consecutively without any blips or interruptions. So that will do it there for that particular update. Before we go any further with this rapid fire news session here, if you appreciate this type of content, please smash that thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, leave those down below. Again, if you want to extend your support, consider delegating with the Dapp Central stake pools. Now, the next piece I want to break down here is coming directly in from the Gero wallet team. So it states that they've now submitted their first ever milestone for their banking API integration when it comes to Project Catalyst, which if you missed it, they receive funding for that. But essentially what this will allow for the Gero community, or just Cardano community, to do is get a MasterCard or a credit card that they can actually spend their crypto with. And on top of that, the ability to potentially link that back to a direct bank account. So I've had Adam from the Gero wallet team here on the channel. I'll have to reach back out to see if I can get more context about this here. But it states that with this particular feature, you'll now be able to spend your ADA using their Gero designed MasterCard. And so here we've got this beautiful dashboard here. We've got the balance within the particular account. And then as we can see, we've got some of the most recent transactions which have taken place with that MasterCard. Now we've also got the team from Tokyo Pay, who's now also been funded to integrate a MasterCard with their wallet. And if you've missed it, they're one of the fastest growing mobile wallets right now in the Cardano ecosystem. So we're seeing a couple of different projects really trying to tackle this issue where people want to spend their crypto, but they don't necessarily have the ability to do so on the fly because they don't have that vehicle. So that MasterCard piece is really going to be important here, especially for anybody who wants to be able to really use their ADA. Now, for me, I'm going to just continue stacking, but I understand that sometimes people just want to spend their crypto, right? As we get ready to wind things down here, if you've missed it, the TapTools API is now free to use if you go ahead and sign up for their upcoming hackathon, where they're going to be giving away 45,000 ADA. So I've broken this down before, but if you're a developer or if you're just somebody that's very technical, right, you've got some good ideas, you can sign up for this particular event. And if you're able to develop a winning solution, you stand the chance to earn for first place 20,000 ADA, for second place 15,000 ADA, and then for third place 10,000 ADA. As always, I'll leave the link to this down below. That will bring me to the end here for today's rapid fire news session. If you've appreciated, if you've learned anything, if you found this to be useful, smash that thumbs up on the way out. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions, leave those down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.